Okay, let's prove Judge Mcshane is absolutely wrong. Hey Google, what day is it?
It is Thursday, May 13th, 2021.
Thermometer off. In front of the camera. Thermometer on. Temperature pushed. Yeah, I'm faking it. That's really faking it. Again. I'm faking it, sure. They think I'm going to court in 50 minutes. I can hardly stand up right now. I've been sitting there trying to make these YouTube videos to expose this corruption. You know, I don't even have the words for it anymore. I just don't even have the words for it anymore. I can show you a bunch of documentation where I'm called a liar. I'm called, supposedly under some kind of court order. Supposedly under some kind of release agreement that doesn't exist. I was never released. I couldn't be under a release agreement. I'll show you right here real quick. Well, that has to do with me being on supervised release illegally. Wrong one. Wrong one. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Detention hearing. Factors to be considered. Contents of release order. Never happened. The release is subject. I was never released. Condition of release. I was never released. I was never released. Every word is released. I was never released. I mean, it's just that simple. I have no conditions of release. I was never released. The court has no jurisdiction. My supervision does not toll, despite the ignorance you'll read in this. He says, at no time I provide medical evidence of that. I don't owe you medical evidence. My medical history is my medical history. It's private. You don't have the ability to compel me to do that. You have no jurisdiction but to hold the hearing in which you've refused to hold for 15 months. While probation has lied and said it had to do with COVID when I showed up to court for a trial twice before COVID even happened. And then here's the judge saying, I'm passive-aggressive and sociopathic. Yeah, that's really going to be an objective hearing I'm going to have. That's going to be really an unbiased party that's going to adjudicate the matter. He should recuse himself immediately based upon that. He accuses me of being a sociopath. He accuses me of lying. The Supreme Court says the adjudicator cannot be, the accuser cannot be permitted to be the adjudicator. It would be a gross injustice. It's like the third time he's accused me of something in open court, but yet feels as if I think I'm going to get a fair hearing. Impartial, unbiased judge. He says motives that aren't there. Bullshit, there aren't motives. I call the police on these freaking scumbags. That's their motivation. They know they're ripe for a lawsuit. Trust me, they're doing this shit on purpose. How else could you explain all these seemingly intelligent officers of the court just can't get out of their own way to violate my rights, including the AUSA, who apparently didn't pay attention in law school well enough and doesn't know the law, lets them call a case that doesn't even exist. United States versus America is what's called on the record, yet the record's molested and altered after the fact to reflect Melindo versus America, when that wasn't what was spoke during the hearing. Again, Judge Michael Mcshane is calling a case in a fraudulent, deliberate manner he knows does not exist. There's no such case as Michael Joseph Reason, or any other shit like that exists. This is a fraud. This is nothing but a fraud. Now he's mentioning YouTube. And it might go a long way if you'd remove those recordings from the internet. What's that? What's that? District Court judge telling me it might go a long way if I stop exposing this corruption. Come on, man. Enough said. They said, we can't get him processed by the marshals. I showed up to that office. I was turned away. I've showed up. I've been in that building. I can't tell you how many times. A half dozen times. And whose fault is it anyways? Whose fault? Mine? My job to process myself? No, it's not. Just like this screwball AUSA who wants to make it seem like I'm the one who indicted myself in the wrong name. I'm the one who ignored fingerprint results. I'm the one who summons the victim in my case instead of the person who's actually being supervised. I'm the one who committed perjury as many times as Toddcantamessa commits perjury in that freaking affidavit or a petition for summons that is admittedly defective just by means of no other reason besides him trying to amend it. I mean, come on. If it's not flawed, if it's not defective, why do you need to amend it? Let me give you an example. There's the petition. Original one. Let me go through this little presentation. It's not finished yet, but look. See this? Those are the difference. Name. But look what the liar, con artist, fraudster Todd does. They amend the original petition to include updated information. First of all, none of this is updated. It's not new. It's not a new revelation. It's not a new thing he's enlightened to. This has been there the whole time. That marshal's number comes from 2010. That name comes from 2010. None of this is updated. But let's listen as the liar tries to con us. The new information has been bolded to aid the court in identification. Does that look bolded? No, it's not bolded. Is that marshal's number bolded? No, it's not. Another count of perjury. Chalk it up. Todd the fraud. Not bolded. Not even close. Come on, next slide. Sorry about this. I didn't have this presentation ready to go for the public quite yet. Okay, here's some stuff. Let you know these jokers over there knew my name for a fact. I'll move through this. Birth certificate, come on. See this? March 2nd, 2018. See that says? How are they going to say they don't know my name? How are they going to excuse themselves? See that? Sentence. Stole this man's identity. Gave it to me. I called the police on him. They certainly knew who I was after I called the police. The very day they had me sign that fictitious, perjury-ridden summons was the day I was in his office discussing the police report I filed against them for stealing that man's identity, the same identity the judge is stealing to this day. Identity theft's a simple crime. It's the use of a person's identity in any fashion or form without their consent. That's identity theft. Look it up. Mr. Melindo, Mr. Reason. I mean, get the name straight here, pal. This is a petition for summons. The only goddamn thing that counts is what was presented to that court, that judge, at the time he signed it. Not 15 months later, Todd the fraud wants to start, rewriting history, trying to cover his ass. Come on. I don't know who the fuck they think they're dealing with. I'm not no stupid junkie schmuck that you're going to run some crap by. It ain't happening. There's this big one right there. There's your jurisdiction gone out the window. I'll back that up for you. See that? That's it. Involves the jurisdiction of the court to revoke supervision after term has expired. Does not involve tolling. Now listen to this judge, so-called judge, man to uphold the law and constitution, not even be aware of the law, and just make an epic fool of himself. I need to see it by Monday or I'm issuing a warrant. He talks about me producing a doctor's note for something, a total false premise. They're operating on nothing but false premises. The false premise is, a doctor said I shouldn't go to court. That's the bullshit false premise they're trying to create as reality in order to find any desperate, thirsty way to get me locked in a jail cell. Talking about court orders, release agreements that don't exist, talk about a release that never happened. I was never released, therefore there is no release agreement. You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out a release agreement pertains to a person who's been in custody. I was never in custody. I mean, come on. This is a shakedown about that. Exposure of fraudulent behavior. This Campbell argument, where they all say they didn't know nothing about it, it's because I was forced to look this up and come up with it to defend myself because I have no attorney. I think it happened. I think there was an order. I think he was supervised. Come on. You can't make this shit up, man. These are freaking incompetent people. Mr. Melindo, I'm sorry, Mr. Reason's responsibilities are at this point. Give me a break. Give me a break. How are you confused? Do you not know how to read fingerprint results, Todd? Let me show you this stuff real quick. It's the first time I read this right now. I'm sorry. I'm not a little unprepared. Somewhere in here, I recalled this earlier. I'm sorry. I don't feel well, man. I apologize. This video is sloppy. This is sloppy. I didn't mean for this to be sloppy like this. I'm really not feeling well. I'm stressed out. I got these people, attempting to lock me up for nothing. For nothing. Nothing but what you see right here. Somebody trying to shake me down to take off the YouTube videos that are exposing blatant, inexcusable corruption and intimidation by the court. See, a doctor's note, incapable. I never said I had from a doctor. Even my attorney says that. You never said that. Why the false premise? Corruption, that's why. Let me continue this presentation. You see what I mean by perjury. See these docket amendments? See this molestation of the court record? And furthermore, if they've all adopted the position that this summons is no longer valid because they did something illegal in it, trying to amend it and add things, then what summons is in effect? This one? The previous one? You're going to make a third one? Come on, man. Get with the program, people. Get with the program. The game's over. The shit's over. Knock it off. Find someone else to fuck with. All you're going to get here is a real, real hard time. Nothing more than that. Something you're not going to like. See the difference? First it's Todd approving it. Now Todd's got to go all the way to chief probation officer to get his stuff approved. Whoever you are, Andrea Newman, you just got reeled into a 1983 lawsuit. Tell Todd the fraud thank you. This presentation is not complete, but trust me, it's going to be complete, and it's perjury riddled. This guy says, listen, the police were dispatched to Gateway Shopping Center. There's no such fucking place on earth. Upon arrival, they were informed a male entered a store. A male? That's half the Earth's population. The male exited the store. Doesn't say I did, it says a male did. That is not even adequate for establishing probable cause. Total amount of merchandise, complete false figure. Officers contacted Melindo, state probation officer, went to residence, Mr. Melindo. Show me one example of Mr. Melindo being in those police reports in that way. It doesn't exist. He uses the case numbers and everything. You see these case numbers? If he read those case numbers, then he read the actual case that says Michael Reason on it. It does not say Dan Melindo on those case numbers. Period. Doesn't say it. You know, these people want to juggle my court dates around like it's going out of style. But let me show you this little nifty brochure that's soon to hit the World Wide Web. That's my docket. Look at how many times they switched my court date in 20 days. 7 times. I get sick, ask for one continuance to prove what? There are a bunch of scam artists, fraudsters perpetrating as court officials. And what I got to deal with is threats of warrants. Hey, maybe take the YouTube videos down. It'd go a long ways. I got news for you. I'm not going to get shook down. I'm not going to get intimidated. There's going to be an impeachment before there's going to be that. Trust me, I'm not no coward. Yeah, pause your screen. Pause your screen. Read it all. Take it all in. That's a little parody, a little levity, a little bit of satire about how the judge moved my court day around at his leisure, you know, as he's getting massages and playing golf and taking selfies after a good workout. Explaining that the court calendar is a little jammed up as I'm over here, you know, shooting pictures of my you know, 6-pack. Yeah. Mess with me. Think you're playing with somebody, you're going to get played with. That's all that comes down to. And the law's on my side, and the truth's on my side, so good luck. Last thing I'm afraid of is some cowards. Certainly not some stupid cowards who don't have the sense to realize it's over. It's over. That's called stolen identity. You see that? That's a stolen identity document manufactured on a government computer, a fraudulent document that instructs me to go to the driver's DMV with that man's name, his real social security number, signed, verified, true, authentic, guaranteed information is true and correct for the purpose of identity. If you ever see that letterhead, anybody, throw it in the trash. I prove right now it's bullshit. It's not trustworthy. That's not me, but that's my picture. Come on, man. Go play with somebody else, Judge Mcshane. I'm not the one.